Our last speaker before we march is Deema Tamimi, a community organizer based in Davis, California. Is Davis here? Go Blue Devils. Deema is a member of the city's Human Relations Commission. Her work focuses on immigrant solidarity, community safety, food justice, and collective liberation. And she draws on her background in tech, marketing, and storytelling to support this work and a deep commitment to care, mutual aid, and dignity for all people. Without further ado, let's hand it over to Deema.
Thank you, Antonio, and thank you to all the amazing organizers and our previous speakers. Hello, everyone. Before we begin, I want to try something with you. If you believe, and I certainly hope you do if you're here, that ordinary people still have power in this country, raise your fist with me for a moment. Y'all look beautiful. Look around. Look around at the people standing beside you. These are your comrades in peace and justice. Authoritarians demand subjects that rely on a single leader. But movements and even revolutions are made by ordinary people that together, collectively, are the true power. People who've decided that the world we're living in right now is unacceptable, and that together we're going to change it. So let me welcome you. If you joined this struggle many years ago, thank you and welcome. If you joined last year, thank you and welcome. If this is your first protest or active resistance ever, thank you and welcome. Some of us have been in this fight a long time. Some of us arrived later when something finally cracked open. But right now, in this moment, what matters is this. You are here, and you are welcome here. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to a new kind of revolution that is rooted in love and collective care. There is no single face to this movement, because movements transcend individuals and they gather their power from the people, the many, because we are the power. Somos el poder. Today we gather to honor and also reckon with our history, to bring together our different experiences and to imagine a shared future. We gather under the banner of No Kings, but there are many banners in this fight for liberation. What No Kings in particular stands for is simple though. No billionaire oligarchs deciding our future. No strong men ruling by fear. Because this country does not belong to kings. It belongs to the people. But if you are serious about saying no kings, we have to be serious about the full picture. We have to be serious about the ICE raids and crackdowns in Minnesota. We have to be serious about what our leaders are doing to Venezuelans and Cubans. We have to be serious about a disastrous war in Iran launched without the consent of the people. And we have to be serious about Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, Congo. Because these are not separate stories, they are all connected. They rely on the same logic of supremacy, the same machinery of surveillance, the same dehumanization, the same resource theft and extraction, the same demand that ordinary people will stay quiet and get used to the unbearable. And while I didn't say it earlier, we have to be serious about the abuse of power even within our movement. I am Palestinian, and I'm also American. My father is from Hebron, where we say El Khalil in Palestine. My father was studying medicine in Cairo when the 1967 war broke out. He had received the top exam grades in Palestine and therefore was sent abroad to study at just 18 years old, and he was the pride of his family. But when the war began, he was not allowed to return home to live with them. Occupation does that.
Yes.
It scatters families, it redraws lives, it turns borders into weapons. And I have been to Hebron in the West Bank. I have seen the occupation up close, the checkpoints, the humiliation built into daily life and government policies. So when I heard people describing the checkpoints and militarized streets in Minnesota, my mind went straight back to the West Bank. Because once a system like that is built, it doesn't stay contained. In Hebron today, Palestinians live under constant surveillance and tracking, state-sanctioned violence and intimidation. And Gaza has become something even darker, a testing ground for the future of warfare and AI-driven targeting. If we don't work together now, we should expect those tools to come here, and they already are.
Yes.
That is why the idea of collective liberation matters so much to me. Collective liberation means none of us are free unless all of us are free. Palestinian freedom is tied to immigrant freedom, to racial justice, to queer and trans rights, to climate justice. Our struggles are not isolated. They circle back on one another. My grandmother used to tell me stories about life before the occupation. She said that in Halil, Palestinian and Jewish families once lived side by side and called one another cousins. Her uncle was a musician who would play music with his Jewish neighbors. That story left a mark on my soul because it reminds us that division is not inevitable. The oligarchs need us divided. In fact, they rely on it. They need us suspicious of one another and afraid. But there is another way to live, and that way begins with courage, together. For a long time, I was afraid to say the words, "Free Palestine." I was afraid of what it would cost me, afraid of being smeared, afraid of being pushed out. But my silence became a cage that sickened my soul. So I started to speak. And on the other side of that fear, I found something powerful. I found community, I found comrades like you, and I learned something important. Courage is contagious. So maybe it's ICE raids that are what brought you here. Maybe it's this war in Iran. Maybe it's Palestine. Maybe it's watching authoritarianism creep closer and closer to home. Maybe it's really realizing that much of our media is shaped by those who benefit from keeping us uninformed. So be thoughtful about where you get your news. Support independent journalism. Ask, who benefits from the story you're being told? Movements grow when people begin to see things clearly. And then we do what people have always done in dark times. We eat together. We organize together. We keep the flame alive. Across the world, people have been rising up against fascism and state violence because solidarity cannot be blocked. Just this week, humanitarian activists on the Nuestra America convoy successfully broke the blockade, delivering aid to Cuba. This April, ordinary people from around the globe will again attempt to break the ongoing siege of Gaza through the global Samud flotilla. This movement is global. For too long, we have been quiet. But not today, not anymore. And it means something powerful that we are marching here today. Almost 60 years ago, farm workers marched hundreds of miles to Sacramento demanding justice. They marched for dignity. They marched for workers. They did not march for a single person or leader. They marched for the people. And today we carry the spirit of that movement forward. Across this country, people are rising. They're connecting the dots and they're refusing fear. And our future depends on what we do next, on whether we stay divided or whether we stand together, on whether we stay silent or whether we speak, on whether we act like individuals or we act like comrades. So as we march today, remember this: you are not powerless. History changes because ordinary people act. It changes because people take risks, because comrades stand shoulder to shoulder and refuse to give up. So look around you again. Raise your fist with me one more time and let them hear us. The people united will never be defeated. Come with me again. The people united will never be defeated. One more time so they hear us all the way to the Capitol. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you, comrades. We are the power. Somos el poder.
All right, one more time for Deema.